Hi everyone, this is Piyu over at 12 with Tarot. Today I'm gonna do my first ever VR, and it is to Feeding My Soul 1212, a VR called Show Us Your Decks. There are about 15 prompts which talk about various decks, and I look forward to this because I've been watching these VRs since 2023, and every time somebody would show a VR or their responses, I would first come up with all the decks, and sometimes it would make me think of my collection in new ways. So, and I would do it as a mental exercise and then forget it, but I've never really properly had a moment where I've sat and deep dived into why this is my answer. And so I'm trying that out today. So the first prompt is a deck you want to use, but for some reason it has not seen any playtime on your deck. And for me, that's a big one because first of all, it's huge. It's the nameless one, and it comes with a ginormous grimoire, and there's the whole deck study I have planned in my mind around it. But just I'll show you a couple of cards. Again, this one's been seen on YouTube. The cards are gigantic. My hand is hidden behind them, and the artwork is so beautiful, and there's sigils, and the grimoire teaches you how to create your own sigils, and it's so beautiful, but it needs this quiet time to sit with. And the court cards really confuse me, so I have had this deck for a while, but I've been sitting on it because I need the space and the time to really deep dive into it. Like, this image is so beautiful. So yeah, that's the first deck. The second prompt is the 12th deck from the right on your tarot shelf. So now my tarot shelf is over here. There's a bunch of tiny shelves, and I just picked the rightmost shelf and I started counting from the right, and I found the 12th deck, and that was the 12th deck was the Favorite Oracle. And this is a deck that was, I think, in Dutch, correct me if I'm wrong, and it came out in English. And these are the backs. This is independent. Nameless one was independently produced as well. I'll try to mention that as I go along. This has some beautiful artwork. The images are so lush, and it's so green. It takes you right into nature. It is so beautiful. Just the way the bodies are, the hair is made, the eyes of the wolf, like, they really pull me in. So the beautiful white stag. It's a gorgeous deck. This old woman is one of my favorites. Just, oh my god, can you not imagine yourself on a swing at midsummer doing this? So it's like a treat. And it has the most beautiful guidebook. It's got a guidebook. It's written in, it's got some spreads. It's got keywords. It's got keywords with under each title. I just want you to know it has a great guidebook. It gives you a one-page meaning and a succinct meaning of the deck. So that's the Favorite Oracle. The third prompt is a deck you are thinking about rehoming, and interesting fact, till date, have not rehomed a deck. I started purchasing at the end of 2023, and I have not, as of yet, rehomed a deck for a very specific reason. One, because I I have been fairly discerning with my buying, and secondly, because I think that I want to be really sure. I do not want to repurchase a deck I have rehomed. So I wanted to be really sure that I wasn't done, you know. And a deck that I am thinking about rehoming is the Spoopy Tarot. And it's sad because I really wanted to love it, but apparently I can't. This is like a super simple, it's like got very minimalistic art. It's just that I am not a fan of eyeballs on cards, and this has eyeballs, and it's not. I love the fact that the artwork is basically an emoji, but I can't somehow seem to get much from a deck, and at the same time eyeballs. So there we are. That's the deck I'm thinking of rehoming. The fourth prompt is a deck you don't store in its original box, and why? For that, my answer is the whyTHE Tarot. I have the guidebook here. I have the deck here. It lives in this beautiful forest green leather bag that I own. And the reason for it is very simple. It came as a split box. And before I shuffled the deck, there was a very clear split in the cards. Now that I've shuffled it a couple of times, it's gone away. But I think we've all seen the Wildwood like multiple times. It's got beautiful art style. It goes its own way. The guidebook is a must. So this lives together, but not in its box. I don't think this deck has lived in its box since the day it came. Like apart from that, it's never lived in its box. So the next is a deck with more or less than 78 cards. And that is also another deck that doesn't live in the box for me for very much the same reasons, because it has a split box, and that would be the Alcento Tarot. This has 100 cards. It lives in this black, beautiful leather box. So all my cards are out. These are the backings. It has this is a deck that I want to sit and I want to read the guidebook back to front with. It is packed with symbolism. It has got an approachable art style. There is so much depth to be gleaned from these cards. There is so many places you can take a reading. The minors are Rider-Waite-Smith inspired, but there is a lot of Marseille. There's even some thought influences in these decks. I'm not a thought person at all, but I'm not gonna say that I can pick up on everything, but this is a deck that, even though it looks so easy to read with, and you can read with it right off the bat out of the book, but I think that the actual magic of this deck lies in sitting through and just reading the guidebook, reading the way the quotes are named, reading the numerology. I 100% recommend this deck. Do not be daunted by the fact that it has 100 cards, but it does have 100 cards. So the next prompt is a deck with a cloud on the box. That is my favorite, and it will surprise no one. It is the Sassy Dragons by Lisa Pepez and Peggy Pepez. And I'm going to show you the safe for work one, because surprisingly, this is my favorite one. Don't get me wrong, I love the not safe for work one. But that was the one I was going to get. But there was one card in this deck because of which I had to have it, and it was what Peggy said for the devil card, that it may not be your fault, but it is your problem, and that just sank like a stone into my soul. I was just like, oh. So all my escapism and all my passing the buck around was just gone with that love statement. And there are clouds on the back of the deck, which are super cute. There are clouds on the front. It's got beautiful things. It's got the cutest artwork. It's got Peggy and Lisa and Dragonified Bruno and Shayla. It's cute. It's very Rider-Waite-Smith aligned. Rider-Waite-Smith aligned. I can do words. And it has sassy meanings. And if you don't have this deck, I'm not going to give away the sassy meanings because they are to be enjoyed. But then look how cute! The dragons. So yeah, this is my deck. And don't underestimate it. It's irreverent, but it can go deep. It's a deck not to be underestimated in my opinion. I have had some really, how should I describe it? What are the words I'm looking for? I've had some really, snappy wake-up calls from this, while also being very humorous, as it doesn't make you feel like the world is ending, but it will definitely give you like you need to get your shit together vibe. Okay, so the next prompt is a deck that you've never shown on your channel. Now my channel is new. Every deck I ever have has not been seen on the channel, minus the ones I just showed you. So I'm just gonna skip that prompt and we'll move on to the next one. A deck that comes in a box inside another box. Surprisingly, I own a fair few decks. I do not have a deck that came in a box inside another box, which is still inside that box. I don't think I have a deck yet that came in a box within a box. A deck that would not appear in your top 10 favorites. Now this is a deck I love. It took me so much time to procure it. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but it's the Moonchild Tarot, specifically the Shadow Edition. So it's got beautiful production quality. Another indie deck. These are the backs. It's got beautiful lilac edging. It's not lilac, it's purple. I know colors eventually. And it has digital collage art. I want to love this deck more than I do. So it's a deck by Danielle Noel, and she has a lot of decks, and her decks are really popular. This is the only Danielle Noel deck I own because I usually steer away from collage, at least I used to, and now I'm getting more into it. This is one of the decks that I wanted to try. Like, I adore this card, but it will somehow, it takes work for me. I can't just throw down these cards and get a reading. I really need to sit and dwell, and that's not why it's not in my favorites. It's just, I think I'm thinking of my favorites right now as decks that would read for me in like any situation. This is something that calls to me very specifically and very sparingly even. Oh, I love the face through the whale here. So it's one that would maybe not make it into my favorites, and yet I'm not parting with it. It has a rose petal finish. I love everything about it. It's beautiful, but somehow it's not in my top 10. The next prompt we have is A deck with another animal besides lion in the strength card. For me, and I have messed up the prompt order, but I don't think it matters. For me, that's the Endless Oracle, because the strength card, very beautifully, is a dragon. Haha! And it's a knight. And I like the wildness of a dragon. It's not a tame looking dragon. So, and this is the Endless Oracle by Eric Mayo, is how I would say it. It's a beautiful deck. It reads really well. It makes a panorama if you put the cards together. I think that his artwork is really good. I don't have his other tarot decks. This is the one I have, and the Oracle, because this is the one that appealed to me. And yeah, we move on to the next prompt. A deck you associate with the color green. For me, that's Peculiar Pathways by Lennox Reese. So it's got green edges. I know that. That's the obvious one. It's got brown backings with a lot of lush greenery on it. It has, you know, the box inside. There's a lot of obvious green elements to this deck, but it's also the calm sceneries. Like, look at the calm greens in the sword. In this card, like, look at the calm greens, look at the new YouTuber vibes, mishaps. So it's got such, I associate it with the color green because the color green always gives me this feeling of being super grounded, very connected, very with the earth. And this gives me those same feelings. Even though it's collage, it's minimalist collage, the black and white in the midst of color doesn't bother me. In fact, it draws my eyes to the element, and I think that this deck works really beautifully in a reading. It has an amazing guidebook, which I definitely recommend buying. And like all of her other works, Lennox is a creative genius, absolutely. So yeah, this is my choice for a deck that reminds me of the color green, and we end on a green card. The next prompt is a secondhand, pre-loved, pre-owned, thrifted deck. So I have a deck which was gifted to me by a friend. So I think this is the Solar Kingdom Tarot, if I'm not mistaken. But this was gifted to me by a friend, and this is a second-hand pre-loved deck that I own. It's got beautiful artwork. I love the aged feeling of the cards. I love the art style. It's so reminiscent of wall paintings for me somehow. Chipping wall paintings depicting like scenes in an old manner is the kind of vibe I have from this deck. So these is the backs. This is my deck for a pre-loved deck that I have. A deck in my collection with the most used guidebook, interestingly enough. So the first ever Oracle deck or tarot deck, first ever cards that I touched was in 2017, and they were the medicine cards. And it was a friend's copy. It was not this particular copy, but just, it was not the cards themselves that drew me in. And I don't know how easy or hard they are to find anymore, but this guidebook, this beautiful monster of a book with spreads, with meanings for each card, a contrary meaning or reversal. It's just so beautiful and connects you to animal spirit knowledge so well that till date, I think of all my guidebooks, this is the one that I get so much out of. So that's that. A deck with water on the box. So for my choice, that was the Flow Tarot. Now I know this is not a box because I didn't get the box when I got the deck. I got it in a bag. But I am aware that the box did have water on it. And so do the backs. The backs were all watery. This is basically a very water element deck. And since I am a water sign, this deck sings to me very beautifully. It's photographic and I just adore it. I use it every rainy season. I combine it with the Tree Whisper Oracle, the Secret Garden, and they just talk to each other really well. And yeah, that'll be something that I can explore in the future, how to make an effective deck pair, because I'm still figuring that out. If that's something you're interested in, let me know, drop it down in the comments below. And last, we have a deck with my most favorite card ever and why. And I have a very weird choice for that. I am gonna show you, this is the Lacrimosa Tarot by Rose Bay. These are the backs. I chose the ones with the silver edges, even though I think now in retrospect I like the red ones more. I got this off Make Playing Cards, and it is this particular 9 of Wands. There's nothing special about it. It's a zoom in of a pre-created artwork, but the fact that the focus is on the neck and the shoulder and the musculature, it is where in our body we carry the burden of responsibility. If you've ever been in any kind of, in a therapeutic situation or a non-therapeutic situation where you're asked to feel your emotions and expression of where it sits inside your body, stress, responsibility always sits in your shoulders. And the way this has been depicted, it's beautiful. And I mean, another card from this deck is the 4 of Coins. And just the sheer material, her grip on it, like she should be confident in her luxury. She is dressed to the tens. She looks like she's at some event, and yet she is the discomfort. When you may look like you have everything, but you lack that sense of security, the discomfort of that is so beautifully depicted in this card. Alright, so that was all the answers to my prompts. I hope you had fun. I know this video was a little messy and it's not perfectly crisp, and I'm getting there. It's a learning curve, but I hope you enjoyed my answers to the prompts and found a new perspective to look at. And I'll see you soon. Bye.